They're thinking. Oh, it is Sunny Day. Look at that. We got him. I mean, I don't know what damage this Origin Pulse is going to do. Yeah, not great damage. Okay, well. You know what? I'm going to say that they don't click Sunny Day this time because it didn't work last time. Just going to Bleak Wind. And switch Kyogre out for Landorus to take that collision course better. Tailwind, okay. Collision course into Landorus. Okay. Bleak Wind, big damage. Big damage, 2 KOs, nice. And welcome back to VGC Legends. This is where I spin a wheel to get a random legendary Pokemon. I then speed build a team with that Pokemon, and I try it out on the Regulation I ladder. I do this because I really like legendary Pokemon, want to give a bunch of them their showcase. Although there are so many now that I'm not sure I'll get to all of them within Reg I, but we'll see how that goes. And when I'm building teams on the fly like this repeatedly, I'm probably going to come up with some good ones, and I'm probably going to come up with some bad ones, and it's going to create some interesting gameplay situations all across that range. So it's been fun so far. I haven't really spun a good Pokemon from the wheel yet, but we'll see how this one goes. I've still had fun with the legendaries I've gotten. Gen 5? Ooh, it almost stopped on Zekrom, but instead it is Landorus. So let's go to the builder. Okay, Landorus is the first Pokemon we've gotten from the wheel that has more than one form, so it's time to talk about how I'm handling those. You might have noticed that each species only appears once on the wheel. It is not broken down by form, and that is intentional. Although different forms of the same Pokemon are treated as different Pokemon by the fans a lot of the time, they are in fact the same Pokemon. That's why you can't use them on a team together. And given that there are so many legendaries already, I don't really want to be breaking it down to using this form and this form and this form. It's, you know, I want to get through as many species as possible. So each time I spin a Pokemon with multiple forms out of the wheel, I am going to choose just one form to build with. And hey, that's one more decision that goes into the build. So hopefully that's all good. And I think for Landorus, it is pretty straightforward. I am going to be using the Incarnate form because that just hits extremely hard, especially in rain with those accurate Sandsear Storms. But with a Life Orb, Sheer Force, Ground and Poison coverage, really solid into certainly the Reg G meta, and I think it still should hold up in Reg I. So that's what I'm going to go with here. I mentioned already that I want Rain. I think I want Kyogre on this team. I think I want Tornadus for Tailwind and the option of Manual Rain. Of course, I still have one more restricted slot available because Landorus is not a restricted Pokemon. I think that people are using Zacian cores, or what is it called? Swordfish cores with Zacian and Kyogre again. That was big in Sword and Shield. It seems like a lot of people are trying that in Scarlet and Violet Reg I as well. It makes sense to me at face value because Zacian helps to check Miraidon and Terapagos, and what else? I was just thinking about this last night. There's another restricted that is strong into Kyogre that Zacian helps with. I am drawing a blank right now. Oh, Zamazenta. Right, helps to check Zamazenta as well. I might alternatively like to run my own Zamazenta. I think my own Zamazenta could be good, right? That's very strong into Terapagos. It's not as strong into Miraidon, though. Maybe Zacian is the answer. We'll give it a go. So, restricted duo of Kyogre and Zacian. We have Landorus and Tornadus. I probably want a Grass type. Sarina might be worthwhile, but honestly, I know a lot of Kyogre teams use Sarina. I don't know that it's a Pokemon that I understand super well. I could just slap on like Incineroar and Amoonguss and have that sort of backbone to the team. That's not a bad idea necessarily, or I could try to fit like a Raging Bolt in here, or even a Rapid Strike or Shifu. Get those rain boosted Surging Strikes. I think I'm just going to do Amoonguss and Incineroar while I'm building on the fly here, and try to answer a bunch of things that opponents can throw at me with those. So those are the Pokemon. I mean, the sets should be pretty straightforward, but as always, I'll skip over the boring part, and we'll cut to the final team. Okay, nothing too crazy here, I think. Pretty typical sets that I usually run on these Pokemon, but I do think the Landorus can potentially put in a lot of work against the likes of opposing Rillaboom and Zamazenta, and hopefully help create some openings for Kyogre. Raging Bolt too, and Miraidon. Hopefully create some openings for Kyogre, as well as just hitting a lot of things extremely hard, as does Kyogre, as does Zacian on the physical side. I'm trying out Substitute Zacian. I think that Substitute can be very valuable on some restricted Pokemon in this format, and given that this team might force some passive play in some situations, I think that it could be useful to breaking some games wide open, but I don't know, I'm not wedded to it. We're experimenting here, right? And then Rocky Helmet and Moongus, just because it's opposing Urshifu, especially Rapid Strike form, can be a little bit tough to deal with potentially. And I do have Snarl on the Incineroar to help me keep things like Shadow Rider teams in check. Assault Vest Kyogre, hopefully also helpful with that. But once again, it is very unlikely that I've thought of everything when I'm just building a team on the fly. So let's see what we get here on the ladder. Lunala, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Miraidon, Grimmsnarl, and Earthflame Mask Ogerpon. Okay. Most Lunala that I see on the ladder these days are not running Wide Guard, but it's conceivable what this one is. They don't have Intimidate, right? They don't have Incineroar, so I could try to do something with Zacian early on. I think I could lead my Incineroar this game. It's very strong into a lot of their Pokemon, gets Intimidates into all their physical attackers, threatens knockoff into Lunala. The only thing that it doesn't really threaten any significant amount is Miraidon. Maybe the Urshifu too, depending on its form. I could run Incineroar Moongus, but I don't love that because, of course, if they lead Miraidon, then I can't, if they switch it in turn 1, then I can't put anything to sleep. Maybe Incineroar and one of my restricteds, or even Incineroar and Landorus. I think I'm just going to do Incineroar Zacian lead with Kyogre and Landorus in the back. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I should be bringing Tornadus for Tailwind here. But we'll see. Okay, it's Grimmsnarl and Miraidon. I think I'm down to fake out the Miraidon and just go for a Substitute. Be a little annoying if they paralyze Zacian here, but they don't. They just set Reflect. Okay. I think I'm down to play Rough into Miraidon, and I'll Parting Shot that slot as well in case it survives, but it doesn't, even with the Reflect up. +1 Zacian, very strong. Get our Parting Shot now. Go out to Landorus, I guess. Let's get into a game early here. They go Lunala. I think I'm down to just Behemoth Blade and Earth Power into Lunala. They can set they have Reflect already. They can set Light Screen here if they want. Zacian's Substitute is still intact. They do Light Screen. Lunala takes a decent chunk through Shadow Shield from that Behemoth Blade. The Earth Power doesn't do a whole lot back. They go Dazzling Gleam for some reason. It doesn't break Zacian's Substitute. And now I can just double into Lunala again pretty safely. Right? Behemoth Blade almost KOs. Earth Power will close it out. Grimmsnarl does now break Zacian's Substitute, but both of their restricted Pokemon are gone. They go Rillaboom here. I'm just going to protect Zacian, and I'm going to Terra Poison Landorus and go for Sludge Bomb into Rillaboom. No fake out. They go for a Thunder Wave into Zacian, but I mean, at this point in the game, that's fine. Sludge Bomb does a lot to that Rillaboom. They drum beating Landorus, which is an interesting tack. Landorus might actually get knocked out by a Wood Hammer after that, but we don't get to find out because they forfeit. Okay. Zacian and Landorus putting in work, sweeping through most of the opponent's team there. Groudon, Lunala, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Indeedee, and Mienshao. I'm running into a lot of these dual terrain teams now that bring Rillaboom and Indeedee. That's an interesting development. They have two possible Wide Guard users. The Mienshao almost certainly has it. The Lunala probably doesn't. I could try leading... Once again, I really like Incineroar into most of their team. And I might end up leaving Tornadus behind because of that. I mean, this looks like a Trick Room team, and they don't have any Tailwind, so... Well, it could be a Trick Room team. They definitely don't have Tailwind. So I don't think Tornadus is important here. I could lead Incineroar again with something stronger to Mienshao. So maybe Zacian again. Let's just bring the same 4 Pokemon as last game. Okay, Mienshao Lunala. They can fake something out. Do I go for a substitute with Zacian here? I'm not sure it's worth. Yeah, it might be worth if they set Trick Room. And I'm just going to click Snarl here. I don't think they wide guard this turn because I'm not obviously threatening spread damage. They actually just close combat into Incineroar immediately, which is wild. But now I've broken a possible Focus Sash on Mienshao, at least until it switches out, because it could have Regenerator. See, they go Trick Room. I can protect Zacian, and then I still have the substitute the next turn. I'm going to go for Knockoff into Lunala. I think they KO Incineroar first. Nope, they don't. But we get Lunala with the Knockoff. Okay. I went for Close Combat into Zacian. Who's coming in? It's Groudon. I can knock that off. I think it probably has a clear Amulet. Otherwise, I'd consider Parting Shot. I'm going to target a Play Rough into Mienshao. I might want to... No, I don't think I Terrasilize Zacian this turn because Groudon will attack before Mienshao does. So I don't really gain anything from that with the substitute up. But yeah, got the knockoff into Groudon. I don't have Will-O-Wisp on this Incineroar. They Precipice Blades, it knocks out Incineroar, but Incineroar's done a lot of work this game already, and they crit Zacian with Close Combat and knock it out. Well, it was a nice idea, getting through the Trick Room with the substitute. But, okay, I have Weather Control for now. They can switch Groudon out and back in if they want. I'm going to... What can they switch in? It could be Rillaboom, Indeedee, or Incineroar. I kind of want to Earth Power that slot. No, I don't know. I don't trust it. I can just click Sandsear Storm, but they could Wide Guard. I think there's a good chance they Wide Guard if they have it, because I have Kyogre on the field. This Mienshao could be choiced for all I know. It's just use the same attack every turn. But, yeah, I'm going to Earth Power it. And, I mean, I only have attacks on this Kyogre. I guess I'll just click Origin Pulse. They do show Wide Guard now. Okay, so Origin Pulse won't do anything. Oh, it's Substitute Groudon. Okay, they kind of got me with that one. But it will now be unable to switch out and bring the sun back. And we see Indeedee is their last Pokemon. I can protect here to get through the last turn of Trick Room, and I'll just go for an Origin Pulse. They can go for big damage into Kyogre. They could do like Helping Hand, Precipice Blades, but hopefully Kyogre survives and breaks the substitute. Otherwise, I'll probably lose, right? We'll see. At least they don't have Wide Guard anymore. Psychic. Okay, Assault Vest Kyogre eats that up pretty nicely. They just went for Precipice Blades. I could have just attacked with Landorus. They didn't use anything that could hit it. Oh well. Now Trick Room is over and I can click Sandsear Storm and Water Spout because Kyogre should be faster than their stuff. So I'm not worried about the damage being further reduced. Yep, Sandsear Storm picks up Groudon. Water Spout knocks out Indeedee. Okay, just making sure I have the right ability on Landorus there. Because I wasn't 100% sure that I said it correctly, but I did. It is Sheer Force. And now this next opponent has Farigiraf, Chi-Yu, Miraidon, Ice Rider, Calyrex, Araquanid, and Cornerstone Mask, Ogerpon. So this is some dangerous Trick Room stuff again. Again, I'm not feeling very pressured to bring Tornadus. I mean, Miraidon probably outspeeds my whole team except Zacian, but the except Zacian is doing a lot of work there. I could probably lead Landorus Zacian into this, right? I'm immediately offensively threatening Miraidon if they lead with that. I can switch Incineroar in if they throw something else at me, like the Calyrex. So we'll do the same 4 Pokemon again, but in a different order. It is Ice Rider, Calyrex, and Araquanid in the lead. So that's not great for Landorus, but not bad for Zacian. I'll go Incineroar here. I'm just going to throw a Behemoth. No, I'm going to substitute. because they might have a way to set Trick Room here that kind of messes with me. It's Clear Amulet, Calyrex. Kind of saw that one coming. It protects. What does Araquanid do? Does it break my substitute immediately and make me sad? Nope. Liquidation comes out into Incineroar. That's not great either, but at least I do still have the substitute here. Maybe I want to get Kyogre in, honestly. Because I think they're looking for a KO into Incineroar here, and I don't think I want to give it to them. Behemoth Blade into Calyrex. We'll see if it Terastallizes this turn. Nope, just switches out to Miraidon. So it'll probably take the Behemoth Blade reasonably well. Not that well. I break my substitute here. I think I'm just going to click Thunder into Araquanid. This is tricky. Because here's the thing. If I leave Miraidon alone, it can attack Kyogre for big damage. But if I attack Miraidon and then they just switch out to something that takes the player off no problem, no, it's fine. Because Kyogre will outspeed Araquanid. I could knock it out. I could even para with full para. I'm just going to attack Miraidon and Araquanid at the same time. They wide guard, but I saw that coming. Play Rough knocks out Miraidon. Okay, looks like this turn worked out perfectly. Thunder knocks out Araquanid. Don't know if the crit mattered. Who's coming in? Ogerpon and Ice Rider Calyrex. They don't have wide guard anymore. I'm just going to Origin Pulse and Behemoth Blade the Ogerpon. They're Fire on the Calyrex. So if I get this Origin Pulse off, it should do big damage. They would hammer Kyogre. Yeah, I thought about Terra Grass there, but I didn't do it because I'd be weak to the Glacial Lance then. But maybe I should have done it anyway. I'll go Incineroar here. I'll Fake Out. They'll probably protect around it, but I can kill a turn of Trick Room, and I can also get a Substitute with Zacian. Yeah. So Substitute Zacian is looking great in this video. Even though it's a Landorus video, I'd say Substitute Zacian has been the star of the show so far. Unfortunately, Zacian does not have much damage into this Calyrex. But also, I think I just have to let Incineroar go down here. I'll try to go for a knockoff. I don't think they'll let me. Yeah, the only problem with this Zacian is coverage. I mean, I guess Behemoth Blade is just my strongest attack. Especially while they have the Clear Amulet, so I can't get a Play Rough drop. And I think they have just enough turns of Trick Room to win this anyway. Unless I get a double protect on ideally Landorus, but I'll fish for it with both. Actually, Zacian double protect never wins this game, does it? Because I just don't have enough damage from Zacian. If Landorus gets a double protect, I win. If Landorus doesn't get a double protect, I lose. So 1 in 3 chance that I win this game. No, and we're not in that timeline. All right, well that's fair. You can't really bank on a 1 in 3 chance and then be mad if it doesn't work out. Could I have Terastallized Landorus there? I'm not sure it matters with the Calyrex already at +1, but I did, in fact, not think of that option. Well, on to the next. I guess I needed to try it, though, because I didn't have anything else. Alright, Shadow Rider, Koraidon, Indeedee, Chi-Yu, Whimsicott, and Walking Wake. The first opponent in a little bit that does have Tailwind. What does that change for me? I don't know. They don't have Wide Guard. I like Snarl and Incineroar here. I could leave Landorus behind for this one and go Tornadus, Kyogre, Zacian, and Incineroar. I do kind of like that. Yeah, I like that quite a bit, actually, because if they lead Koraidon, I get Weather Control, at least to start the game. If they lead Shadow Rider, it's Assault Vest Kyogre, can probably take an Astral Barrage reasonably well. That's what I'm going to do. We'll leave Landorus behind this game. I don't have to bring it every time. Imagine if I had to bring the featured Pokemon every time, back when I rolled Cosmog a couple episodes ago. Alright, so we both get our Tailwind leads, and I am just going to Tailwind Origin Pulse. Sunny Day, okay, nice tech. Yeah, they got me with that. They Encore Tornadus into Tailwind, so I can't click Rain Dance now. That's really good. That's good stuff from them. Alright, I'm going to go for an Ice Beam into Whimsicott. That's not nerfed by the sun. And I'm going to switch to Incineroar. Yeah, I like the way they played the first turn of this. My Pokemon take Astral Barrage pretty well. Unfortunately, I don't get the KO into Whimsicott. They fish for a Moonblast drop and they get it. I can think about pivoting Kyogre out, but again, there's nobody I really want taking An Astral. Well, I'm pressuring the Shadow Rider. They might get it out of here now. I still want to get rid of the Whimsicott, though, I think. So I'm going to stay in and Ice Beam it, and if I'm wrong, so be it. And just go for a knockoff into Calyrex. They leave it in and Protect. They set Tailwind, which I'm only now realizing they hadn't done yet. Of course, because they clicked Sunny Day turn 1. But that's the only Tailwind they're getting. Whimsicott is knocked out. Obviously, they're banking on it being enough to win them the game, and they might be right. The Walking Wake is pretty scary here. Do I sack my Tornadus to get Rain back? They probably still have Koraidon in the back, though, right? Man. Also, they're threatening to KO Incineroar, and I think I might just want to let Incineroar go down, because... what am I switching in? If I get Tornadus in, I can click Rain Dance. Then they threaten Encore again, but it is what it is. I kind of want to go for a Thunder in Sun, but at 50% accuracy... You know what? Let's just roll the dice. It's a good para chance if it works out. Go Knockoff. Yeah, they knock out Incineroar with Hydro Steam. They get a single target Astral Barrage now. Yep. Life Orb Walking Wake. Big damage. I do land the Thunder. No para. Would have been cool. Unfortunately now, they have Tailwind and I don't. So Kyogre is never getting through this turn. And there's also no safe switch to Zacian. So I think it's just GG pretty much. But... let's fish for a para again. That's what we're doing here. Yeah, and I assume they have Koraidon in the back with Terra Fire, so Zacian always loses to that, but I don't see a way to position for it. Yeah, they just knock out Kyogre with the Draco Meteor. This is a really powerful offensive team here. I'm really impressed. They certainly didn't make this easy for me. Play rough into Walking Wake, and the only thing Tornadus can do is Tailwind. Actually, I'm going to Terra Dragon to better take a Flamethrower or Hydro Steam, and I'm going to Behemoth Blade. They can protect the Calyrex. Yeah, I'm going to Behemoth Blade the Calyrex. And then the hope is that I have enough damage into... yeah, I mean, it doesn't work, but... that's all I've got. The Walking Wake being at -2 special attack is kind of useful, actually, unless I switch it out here. Astral Barrage. Zacian really doesn't take that well. They do knock out Calyrex. They Hydro Steam Tornadus. Tornadus actually survives. And Koraidon comes in, but now, again, they can Terra Fire, and there's not really anything I can do about that. So I'll just hope that for some reason they don't, but of course they do. Yeah, they really blew me up with that Sunny Day Encore lead. That was really good stuff. Okay. Is that 2 losses? I think it is. My bad if I'm miscounting. Incineroar, Rillaboom, Fluttermane, Shadow Rider, Calyrex, Terrapagos, and Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. This is, I guess, where I test whether I have enough for Terrapagos. I haven't brought a Moongus to a single game yet. This one, there's a case for it, but I think it's probably not happening. Incineroar is really good into most of their team. Yeah, especially with Snarl, being able to weaken both of their restricteds. Zacian is really good into not Incineroar, but into Ogerpon and Terrapagos. If I can get a substitute up, which could be tough against Fake Out Pressure, then Zacian could be very strong here. I could honestly lead Incineroar or Moongus into this one, but then who stays behind? Lead Incineroar Tornadus. I can do Incineroar Zacian again. The only thing I'm worried about there is their Incineroar. Let's lead Incineroar Kyogre. Right? Because Incineroar intimidates their 2 main threats into Kyogre, and then, I don't know, good things happen. And I'm going to bring Landorus. This could be the last battle of the video, so it's time to Or it's not a time to be leaving Landorus on the bench. They actually lead their 2 grass types, so that's a rough start for Kyogre. But it gets me Zacian in pretty freely, I think. Would be nice to have Will-O-Wisp. I don't. Actually gonna go for knockoff into Ogerpon just to try to break its... it's sturdy. That's probably not worth. I don't think I like that play. They fake me out anyway, and they power whip into Zacian and miss. Okay. I'll go for a substitute here. It's a little bit aggressive, but I'm in a pretty good position, I think, if it works. I am worried now about an Ivy Cudgel into Incineroar, but there's not really anybody that I... Well, at -1, maybe I could go Landorus here. Preserve Incineroar. Actually just Spiky Shield, and what does Rillaboom do? U-turn into Landorus. Okay, that works. Who's coming in? They don't have Wide Guard on this team, so if Landorus gets an attack off here, which it might not do in front of Shadow Rider Calyrex, I can go Big Sandsear Storm. But yeah, maybe not. I can go Incineroar again. And I'll click Behemoth Blade into Calyrex. It could have a Focus Sash. They also could use Follow Me, but I don't think I want Landorus to try to take this Astral Barrage if that's what's coming out. They actually just protect. Oh, okay. Well, unfortunate for me there. Ogerpon goes Ivy Cudgel into Zacian. It does not break the substitute. It is, of course, resisted and -2 attack. I'll go Behemoth Blade and Snarl here. If they click Follow Me, this double up should knock out Ogerpon and still get a special attack drop into Calyrex. It maybe gets a little bit iffier if they attack with both, but Calyrex should be faster than Ogerpon, so at least any damage into Zacian should only be into the substitute from the Calyrex, and then the Ogerpon is not threatening much damage into Zacian after that. Could always crit Incineroar with a super effective Ivy Cudgel, but they do Follow Me, so Behemoth Blade will knock it down to sturdy. What does Calyrex do? Draining Kiss into Incineroar, not much damage. Astral Barrage finishes off Ogerpon, good damage into Calyrex and a special attack drop. And who's coming in? They have Rillaboom and probably Terapagos. Let's see. Terapagos. Okay. I think I can just Snarl again, and I'm down to go for a Behemoth. Actually, I'm down to protect Zacian. Preserve the substitute for now, and if I break the Terra Shell here, then maybe... Yeah, I mean, they're protecting Calyrex anyway. That's what I was thinking about attacking, but maybe I get a non... Ooh, that Snarl really doesn't do much damage. It does offset the Calm Mind, but they are getting their Terra Shell right back. Alright, I'll go for Behemoth Blade into the Calyrex slot here, and another Snarl. Grassy Terrain is not up. Unless they reset it, I will actually... no, they probably have leftovers, right? It's fine, I'll keep Snarling, just to prevent it from Calm Mind boosting. Get some good Behemoth Blade damage into Rillaboom. They break the substitute here. They did preserve their Calyrex, though. Protect around what I think is probably going to be a fake out into Rillaboom, and they didn't Calm Mind, so I think I have an opening to knock off the Terapagos. They fake out Incineroar. Okay, guessed wrong on that one. I'm actually going to switch to Landorus here, because I think they're going to Earth Power into the Zacian slot. Am I going to do that and throw away my Intrepid Sword? I'm just going to Behemoth Blade Terapagos. It does hit Terra Shell, still does a lot of damage. They shouldn't be getting Terra Shell back up after that. They actually Earth Power Incineroar, so I'm glad I didn't switch Zacian out there. And they're bringing their Shadow Rider in on a Snarl. Maybe they were hoping to KO Incineroar there, but yeah, since I've been denying boosts to the Terapagos, that doesn't go so well for them. I have a pretty free Behemoth Blade into something here. I just have to pick the right target. I'm going to go with Terapagos. I could just double protect. If they double protect, then I'll be sad that I didn't click substitute. They protect Calyrex. They don't protect Terapagos. Nice, got it right. Now they get Rillaboom back. Protect Zacian and Snarl. If they knock out Incineroar, I can probably still win with my stuff in the back. And I'm not worried as afraid to Terrastallize anything now that Terrapagos is gone. They do fake out into Zacian. I think Incineroar will take this Astral Barrage just fine. Yep, we get another Snarl, knocks out the Shadow Rider, and Zacian can definitely finish Rillaboom off from here. I think we would have seen high horsepower already if they had it. And they forfeit. Alright, at least one more game. Calyrex, Shadow Rider form, Baradon, Whimsicott, Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, and I was about to say Hariyama, but of course that is Iron Hands. Scary team. This definitely could be last game. Well, let's learn nothing from the last Shadow Rider Whimsicott matchup and hope it turns out differently this time. Let's bring Landorus. It threatens Iron Hands. It threatens Chi-Yu. It's the Pokemon that I'm meant to be featuring prominently here. And let's just go all offense with Zacian and see what happens. Baradon Whimsicott lead. Okay, that's different. This could be another sunny day Whimsicott. And it's probably fast. I'm tempted to just click Rain Dance with Tornadus right now. You know what? Let's just do it. I feel like they're telegraphing sunny day Whimsicott with this lead. If I'm wrong, at least I tried to make a cool play. They're thinking. Oh, it is sunny day. Look at that. We got him. I mean, I don't know what damage this Origin Pulse is going to do. Yeah, not great damage. Okay, well. You know what? I'm going to say that they don't click sunny day this time because it didn't work last time. Just going to Bleak Wind. And switch Kyogre out for Landorus to take that collision course better. Tailwind, okay. Collision course into Landorus. Okay. Bleak Wind, big damage. Big damage, 2 KOs, nice. And now I can set Tailwind, offset from theirs. Alright, Shadow Rider, Chi-Yu. I probably still just lose to the Shadow Rider, don't I? Well, I'll protect this, kill a turn of their Tailwind, and I'll set my Tailwind up here. Terra Ghost on the Chi-Yu. Snarl. Yeah, I probably just lose to these. If I brought Incineroar, it's a different story, but I said no, all offense. Zacian here. Dancier Storm, Terra Dragon, Behemoth Blade. Their Chi-Yu's choice locked into Snarl. There was no need to Terra Dragon there. Doesn't really matter, though. There's no Terra that benefits me in this position. Alright, it was a fun idea, and I think it would have worked out if I brought Incineroar. I actually really liked the way I played those first couple turns. I just had the wrong Pokemon in the back. But, yeah, we'll call it there. Fun video. I don't think Landorus is as good as it was in Reg G, based on what I've seen here, but I definitely think there's a place for it in this meta, and I think as Kyogre teams are increasingly figured out over time, we'll see Landorus popping up more often. But the substitute Zacian, I don't want to gush about it too much because it's not the point of this video, but it certainly put in work and something that we'll probably see again at some point in this series. Anyway, fun one for sure, and back to the wheel next time.